There it is. That was the scariest thing in Little Nightmares. Don't worry, there's no need to go back, there was no jump scare, nor were there any changes in the game's atmosphere during that moment. What I was referring to is the breath that I held every time that the game takes a more platforming focus. The reason behind this is that the controls do not feel as fluid as they should, and death often means returning to a previous checkpoint that you aren't 100% sure where exactly that's located. You'll likely find yourself dying quite a bit in these situations where you knew full and well what you were supposed to do, but your character didn't move in the direction that you would have liked. That is not to say that the game is aggressively bad, rather, that is information that you need to know before beginning your journey. Little Nightmares is a horror puzzle platformer. You'll navigate several sections, all the while avoiding being caught and trying to escape the areas that you find yourself trapped in. There's not too much of a focus on a story, as most of it is pieced together via the locales and interactions that you have with other characters. When the game is all said and done, you'll have more questions than answers, but all of that seems fairly intentional. Some sections will have you manipulate objects to get to hard-to-reach places or outsmart the native monsters as they hunt you down for disrupting their environment. The mechanics are pretty simple, as it all comes down to moving, picking up objects, and occasionally throwing them to get to where you want them to be. The game does a fairly good job at creating a creepy setting. It is highly advised that you play the game at night with a pair of headphones and low screen brightness. Nothing is overtly scary and you'll not find any major jump scares, but it does create a memorable environment, and the enemies that live in the environments are unique, almost resembling a morphed Studio Ghibli character. However, they're not as impactful as one would like. I did like seeing that the character that we control delve more and more into madness as the game progressed, and I was actively awaiting these set pieces. These minor cutscenes are where the game shines in my opinion, as they perfectly embody what the game is going for, and I wish that there was more of them for additional world building. There are some major problems with the game that range from minor inconveniences to outright problematic. For starters, it's unclear what constitutes a checkpoint in the game. This becomes increasingly noticeable in short bursts of gameplay, where if you decide to leave and you return, you'll be having to redo sections that you've already solved. This makes it a game that'd be best experienced and completed in one sitting. The next issue is some of the puzzles. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good puzzle, but there were several occasions where I was stuck in a situation without a clue on what to do next. I only found out what I was supposed to do was something that I'd already tried to do, but I wasn't in the correct position to trigger the action. My experience lasted me only 4 hours, but roughly 30 minutes to an hour was spent on just 4 puzzles, trying everything that I could. Once I found the situations, I would find myself groaning rather than feeling like I used my wits for some solution. This obviously is a huge issue when it comes to puzzle platformers. Coming back full circle to what I mentioned at the beginning, there is an issue with the controls. I found myself trying every control layout at some point, and things still felt a bit off. Sometimes I would find myself unable to navigate a straight line, and this would lead to unnecessary deaths and significant loss of progress. Overall, Little Nightmares is a mixed bag in a lot of respects. On one hand, the concept is cool, the atmosphere is great in certain situations, and the downward descent into madness is worth experiencing. On the other hand, the game controls are some of the most cumbersome that I've felt in recent memory. Some of the puzzles seem needlessly obtuse, and it is best played as one longer play session as opposed to shorter ones, which can leave you retracing a lot of the playtime. At the current price of $5.99 and a future price of $7.99, this may be an experience that you can hold off on as it gets some fine-tuning to make it more enjoyable, or waiting until it goes on a significant sale.